America loves its spotlight founders. You know their names: Washington, Jefferson, Hamilton, Franklin. The revolutionary A-listers etched into currency, musicals, and classroom posters. But behind the noise, in the quiet corners of taverns and courtrooms, one man stitched the scaffolding of a nation while the others made headlines. Roger Sherman was no aristocrat, no firebrand philosopher. He was a shoemaker, surveyor, judge, and legislator. He signed more founding documents than anyone else. He brokered compromises that held the states together. And yet, you won't find him in most textbooks. This isn't a myth-busting episode. This is a tribute, a dive into the life, mind, and work of the quiet architect of American democracy. Let's unroll his legacy. Roger Sherman was born into modest means in Newton, Massachusetts, in 1721, a far cry from the aristocratic upbringings of some of his contemporaries. His father, William Sherman, was a farmer and shoemaker, and young Roger followed in those footsteps, quite literally, by training as a cordwainer. The combination of craftsmanship and math led him to pursue surveying, a skill that would later serve him well in land disputes and legal interpretation. When the Sherman family moved to New Melford, Connecticut in 1743, Roger helped open the town's first general store with his brother, an enterprise that doubled as an informal civic hub. While customers traded for dry goods, Roger devoured legal tomes and math treatises behind the counter. That curiosity soon evolved into civic engagement. By 1754, he'd passed the bar without any formal schooling, a feat that speaks volumes about his autodidactic grit. His intellectual growth mirrored the colonial ferment, the sense that ordinary men could rise and reason their way to something new. Sherman's ascent through colonial and early American governance was steady and versatile. He served in Connecticut's General Assembly and later became a Superior Court Justice, a position he held for over 2 decades. Unlike the flashier founders, Sherman avoided rhetorical flourishes and grandstanding. He built consensus behind the scenes. His quiet logic gained trust across regional divides. Sherman wasn't chasing legacy, he was chasing stability. His contributions to the nation's foundation are unmatched in breadth. Sherman is the only person to sign all 4 of America's formative documents, a distinction even Jefferson couldn't claim. In 1787, at the Constitutional Convention, Sherman bridged deep divides between large and small states by proposing the Connecticut Compromise, crafting the bicameral Congress we know today. It wasn't glamorous, but it was the blueprint that kept the fragile Union from fracturing before it began. Sherman's political philosophy was a blend of pragmatism and Calvinist order. He believed government should reflect biblical principles and serve communal needs over individual ambition. This made him initially hesitant to abandon the Articles of Confederation, fearing too much centralized power. But once convinced of the need for change, he played a pivotal role in shaping a constitution that balanced strength with restraint. He aligned more with Federalists like Hamilton when it came to the nuts and bolts of government function, supporting the creation of a national bank and the federal assumption of state debts. Sherman favored regulation and taxation as tools for order, not oppression. His legacy is constitutional stability, not the drama of revolution, but the mechanics that hold the republic together. Roger Sherman married Elizabeth Hartwell in 1749, and together they raised 6 children. After Elizabeth's death, he married Rebecca Minot Prescott in 1763 and had 9 more. Life in colonial Connecticut was demanding, but Sherman's family was unusually long-lived for the time. 12 of his 15 children survived to adulthood. His household became a web of connections among ministers, judges, and merchants. Among his descendants is William Tecumseh Sherman, the Union general famed for his march to the sea during the Civil War. Though distant, the familial link suggests a legacy of structured vision and hard choices, traits Roger Sherman embodied in legal form, while Tecumseh wielded them with military bluntness. Sherman's home life was likely filled with ledger books, theological discussions, and a steady stream of practical advice. He wasn't poetic, but he was fiercely grounded. By all accounts, Sherman was a man of simple tastes and consistent habits. He was deeply religious, adhering to the tenets of Congregationalism, and he often leaned on scripture during legal debates. One story tells of him stunning Jefferson and Franklin with a quote from Leviticus that perfectly suited the political dilemma at hand. In his spare time, he compiled and published almanacs, a practical outlet for his mathematical mind that blended astronomy, weather prediction, and civic advice. There's no surviving record of a favorite food or drink, which is almost fitting for someone so understated. But given his New England roots and the era, he likely enjoyed apple cider, cornbread, salted meats, and root vegetables, staples of colonial fare. Imagine Sherman sitting near a fire, ledger in hand, sipping warm cider as he calculates eclipse paths and debt ratios with equal ease. Sherman died in 1793 in New Haven, Connecticut, while still serving as a U.S. Senator, a fitting end for someone who never stopped working toward structural clarity. He was buried in Grove Street Cemetery, where many of Yale's prominent figures also rest. The city he helped shape as mayor mourned a quiet visionary. Though not often quoted on memorial walls, Sherman's name appears among the figures honored at the Jefferson Memorial, a testament to his indispensable role. The town of Sherman, Connecticut, also bears his name, standing quietly like he did, as a foundational but overlooked cornerstone of American democracy. Roger Sherman didn't write poetry. He didn't duel. He never led an army or launched a philosophical movement, but he laid the bricks beneath it all, through logic, compromise, and consistency. He shaped systems so they wouldn't crumble. That's a legacy you can walk on. For every founder who shouts, there's one who stitches. In this series, we'll keep finding those stitches, because sometimes the soul of a revolution is measured not in fireworks, but in ledger books, leather scraps, and quiet brilliance. Quote, "The question is not what rights naturally belong to man, but how they may be most equally and effectually guarded in society." Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious.